So hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel, and this is a tutorial on how I made this shoulder drawstring dress with a Basque waistline, okay, as you can see right here. So if it's something you're interested in, kindly stay tuned and watch the full process of this video, okay. So let's get started. So at first I'll just go in with my plain pattern paper, and from the top of my pattern paper I will come down by 1 inches like so to get my top line. As you can see me doing, I'll come down by 1 inches to get my top line, and I'll just go ahead and connect from one end to meet the other like so, okay. So from that part I'll come down by my bust point, okay, which is 9 inches, okay. So I'll come down by 9 inches to get the bust point of this particular dress, and I'll just go ahead and connect all the lines using my straight ruler, as you can see me doing. After that I will come down to get my underbust, and I'll just go ahead and mark, and also my waistline, and I'll go ahead and mark like this, and I'll do the same thing repeatedly on each lines like so. And I'll just go ahead and connect. At this point I forgot to connect my underbust, but I'll still go back to do it, okay. So from my waistline I'll come down by 8 inches, okay, for my hip line. Yes, because the 9 inches will be too long, so that's why I did 8 inches, okay, from my hip line. And I'll just go ahead and label all of them like so. So I remembered and I went ahead to like reconnect my underbust line like so, and I labeled them right here, okay. For my neck width I'll just go ahead and mark 3.5 inches for the neck width, and I'll also go ahead and divide my shoulder measurement by 2 and mark it. So from my shoulder I will just mark 12 inches for my sleeve length, okay, and from that sleeve length I will come down by 1 inches for my shoulder slope. Now this sleeve length depends on you, depends on how long you want your sleeve to be. So from there I will just go ahead and mark how open I want my sleeve opening to be, okay. So from the 1 inches I came down for my shoulder slope, I'll go ahead and mark what I want my sleeve opening to be. So I'll mark whatever I have on my shoulder line, and I'll go ahead and minus 3 inches from it, and I'll place it on my underbust, okay. That's whatever I have on my shoulder line, I will go ahead and mark a minus 3 inches, and I'll place it on my underbust like so, okay, as you can see me doing. Now using the curvy side of my ruler, the C-shaped side, I'll just go ahead and connect from my sleeve opening length to meet my underbust like this, okay, as you can see me doing. So the next thing to do is to go ahead and divide my underbust circumference by 4, and I'll just go ahead and mark it on my underbust like this, okay. And I'll add my 1 inches sewing allowance, and I'll also go ahead and input my waist circumference by 4, and I'll go ahead and input my allowance, okay, to it. And from there I'll come down by 3 inches from my backs to get the backs effect. I'll come down by 3 inches from my waistline to get the backs effect, okay. And on my hip line I'll also go ahead and input my hip circumference, that is my hip divided by 4, and I'll just go ahead and input it there, and I'll add my allowance, okay, like this, as you can see me doing. Now connecting all the lines together, I'll connect from my underbust to meet my waistline, and from my waistline to meet my hip line like so, okay. And now for the backs effect, I'll just go ahead and connect on the 3 inches that I came down by from my waistline back sleeve to meet the hip line like so, okay. So look at how I am connecting it, and this is what we have. So the next thing I'll just go ahead to do right now is to determine how open I want my neckline to be, okay. So for the front neckline I'll be using the underbust as the opening, okay, while for the back neckline I'll be using my bust point as the neck depth, okay. So connecting from my neck width to meet my underbust, and also connecting from my neck width to meet my bust point, okay, as you can see right here. So the longer one is my front neckline, and the shorter one is my back neckline. So but you can go ahead to do the both of them your underbust, that's fine, depending on how you want it to be, okay. So guys, this is what we have, and I'll just go ahead and cut them like this, okay, as you can see me doing, following the shape of the pattern, okay. So I'll just go ahead and cut my underbust first to meet the hip line like so, okay. So you know this is one part already, and I'll just go ahead and keep it aside, and also cut the upper part of the dress. So remember, this particular dress is into 3 sections. That's from the shoulder to the under bust, and that's the first section. The second section is the under bust to the backs, that's the hip line, that's the second one, and the third one is the gathers effect. Okay, so it's divided into 3 sections, and this is what we have, like so. Okay, as you can see me doing. So the next I'll just go ahead to do right now is to cut the neckline. Now just go ahead and cut only the back neckline, because I have to cut the back. I have to add my zipper allowance to the back pattern first. Okay, like so. So now I'm gonna head to place the pattern on my fabric, and I went ahead to add 1 inches for my shoulder, to my shoulder joining, and also my zipper allowance. And also on the under part, I also went ahead to add 1/2 inch, okay, for the joining allowance. And this is my facing that I have. Okay, now that is the back pattern, and this is also the front pattern. Now remember what I said I did. I added 1 inches to the shoulder, that is for the drawstring casing effect, okay, so that my casing will be able to pass there. And also went ahead to add 1/2 inch to the lower part of the dress, and also I went ahead to cut a facing for the dress, like so. Okay, as you can see me doing. So this is the under part, which is the back's side. Okay, I also went ahead to cut for the back and front, and I added allowance to all the sides that you can see me showing you. That's to the front and to the lower part side. Okay, I didn't add to the side because I've already added my allowance to the pattern. Okay, so like this. So the one that is on fold is the front back's effect. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and keep it aside. And for the back's effect, I also went ahead to add my zipper allowance to it. Okay, and on the waistline, I came in by 1/2 inch to eliminate any zipper bulge that I'll be having there. Okay, and this is what we have. Okay, so I also went ahead to add my allowance on the upper side and on the lower side. Okay, and also my zipper allowance. So the next now, just go ahead to do right now is to cover the neckline with the facing that I have right here. Okay, I'll just go ahead and match up the facing that I have on both the front side and on the back side. Okay, now placing my facing right side of my fabric, and I'll just go ahead and sew them like this. Okay, as you can see me placing them like so. Okay, now I'll follow the shape of my neckline, and so I'll take it over to my sewing machine and sew like this. Okay, as you can see me doing. So guys, I'm done sewing, and this is what we have. This is the inside and this is the outside. Okay, so I also went ahead to sew the sleeve opening like this. Okay, I went ahead to fold the sleeve opening on both sides like so. Now I'll just go ahead and bring the 2 front parts that we have right here. That's the upper bodies of the part like so, and I'll just go ahead and overlap them on each other using 1.5 inches, or you can just go ahead and place it in a point where you feel the opening of your neckline is fine by you. Okay, but for me, I overlap them using 1.5 inches like so. Okay, as you can see me doing like this, and I'll just go ahead and run a stitch on it to hold them together before running a loose stitch on one end. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and run a loose stitch from one end to another to enable me have the gathers effect like so. Okay, so now whatever thing I do to one end, I'll just go ahead and do it to the other end like so. Okay, now this is my back pattern, and for this particular back pattern, I will not be doing an overlapping because this particular back does not have an overlapping. So I'll just go ahead and run a loose stitch on the under part of the dress. Okay, to enable me gather it to meet the lower part of the dress. Okay, so guys, I've gone ahead to run a loose stitch and also went ahead to gather it like so. Okay, as you can see me doing. Now I will go ahead and place this lower bodice on it. That means I gathered it to fit in this lower part of the dress. Okay, now before I will place this gathers on it, I'll just go ahead and remove my 1-inch joining allowance. That means the parts where I will be joining both the front and back together will not be having the gathers on it. Okay, so that was why I just went ahead to like push the gathers inside, and I'll just go ahead and place this lower bodice on it like this. Okay, as you can see me doing, right side facing right side like so. Okay, and I'll just go ahead and sew them, okay, from one end to meet the other end, and this is the front. And for the back, I also go ahead and do the same thing. I remove my zipper allowance and also the joining allowance, okay, and gather the rest, okay, like so, as you can see me doing. And I also place this lower part right side facing right side, okay, as it should be like so. Okay, as you can see me doing, and I'll just go ahead and sew it up. So whatever thing I do to one, I will go ahead and do it to the other side. Okay, so guys, I am done sewing, and this is what we have. Okay, so I went ahead to sew it on the right side facing right side, and this is what we have. Now to cover up this rough side of the gathers, I will go ahead and place the lining piece on top of it like so. Okay, now this is to cover up the rough edges. Okay, I'll just go ahead and place the lining piece starting from the under bust like this. Okay, as you can see me doing. Now the same thing I did to the back, I also do it to the front. Okay, like so. So this is the front part like this. Okay, as you can see me doing. So I'll just go ahead and use the lining piece to cover up the gathers effect so that it will be very neat inside. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and place the lining piece to cover it up like so. Okay, as you can see me doing, I'll just go ahead and run my stitches on it. So guys, I am done, and the next thing for me to do is to join both the front bodies and the back bodies together. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and place them right side facing right side, and I'll use my pin to hold them up together. Okay, as you can see me doing. Remember, the back is 2 pieces and the front is just like 1 piece. Okay, the back is like that because of the zipper allowance at the back. Okay, so I'll just go ahead and join the shoulders, marking my 1 inches that I added for my drawstring. Okay, as you can see me doing. Sorry, this was a little bit far so but with my explanation you understand. I'll just go ahead and mark my 1 inches drawstring allowance that I added to the shoulder. Okay, now if you want your shoulder to be a little bit tight, you can just go ahead and add 1.25 instead of 1 inches. Okay, so that you'll not be having a falling shoulder. So I'll just go ahead and take it to my sewing machine and I will sew. Okay, I will join the shoulders using 1.25. Okay, so that my shoulder will not be having a saggy effect. Okay, so now when I'm done, I also went ahead to cover up the casing for the drawstring that's on the shoulder like so, as you can see me doing. So what I did was just to fold it in by 0.25 on both sides, and I just went ahead to sew. By doing that, you've made your casing. So for the rope, I use a width of 1.5 inches, and for the length, I think I use 25 inches for the length. So this depends on you of how long you want it to be, but let it be very long to a point that you can be able to draw it and you still have excess on it. Okay, so the next thing I just went ahead to do is to pass the rope through the casing. Okay, so I started from the shoulder side to come out on the sleeve opening side. Okay, so now when passing this, you just have to be very careful so that the rope will not come out like all of them won't come out. So when you pass it to meet the opening, you just go ahead and draw it like this, as you can see me doing, and you hold the one at the shoulder side with a pin. Okay, you just go ahead and you hold it with a pin like this. Okay, so that it won't pull off again. Okay, so whatever thing you do to one side, you just go ahead and do it to the other side. Okay, like so, as you can see me doing. right here. So I'll just go ahead and remove my safety pin, and I will pass it again from one end to meet the other side, the other end, like so. Okay, and guys, when I'm done doing this on both ends, I'll just go ahead and match it on the shoulder side, like so. Okay, on the neckline side, I'll just go ahead and match it on the neckline side, like this. Okay, so whatever thing I do to one end, I'll do to the other end, like so. Okay, and this is what we have, like this. Okay, so you can see the drawstring effects on one side. I also went ahead to do it on the other side, like so. Okay, and now it's now time for us to shape. Okay, now I will go ahead and fold it, and I'll just go. So guys, the next thing for me to do is to shape. Okay, so now I'll just go ahead and open it up like this, and I'll fold it to meet each other, like so. Okay, and I'm using my 1-inch sewing allowance that I added. I'll just go ahead and shape, following the shape like this with my 1-inch. Okay, whatever thing I do to one side, I'll just go ahead and do it to the other side. Okay, as you can see, like so. So guys, I am done shaping, and this is what we have. Okay, so you can see our dress is already taking shape, like so. Okay, that's the front part and also the back parts, like so. Okay, as you can see. So the next thing for me to do is to get the down part for the gathers. Okay, now for this particular down part, I use three yards, yes, of fabric. I use 3 yards of fabric, and for the length, I went ahead to minus my half length plus 3 inches. Okay, which is 18 inches, and from there I went ahead to minus 18 inches to get the gown length, like so. Okay, and I added 2 inches for folding allowance. Now let me take it back again. Now remember, I came down by 3 inches from my backs. That's for my waistline. Okay, to get my backs. So that was why I made it 18 inches. My waistline is 15 inches. That's my half length is 15 inches plus the 3. So I'll just go ahead and run a loose stitch and gather it, okay, to meet the upper bodice, like so. Okay, as you can see me doing right here. Okay, so when I'm done gathering it, I'll just go ahead and sew like this. Okay, I'll place it right side facing right side of the lower bodice after shaping my upper bodice. Okay, as you can see right here. So I'll just go ahead and sew it from one end to meet the other end, like this. Okay, so guys, I am done sewing it, and this is what we have. Okay, as you can see right here. So you can also see the back shape that is there, and I also went ahead to put my zip. Okay, yes, I also went ahead to fix my zipper at the back of it, like so. Okay, as you can see right here, and I closed it up like so. Okay, as you can see, and also went ahead to fold the lower parts, the down parts. Yeah, so when I'm done, I'll just stick it to weave the inner side of it, cover up every rough edges that I have in it, and that's all. Thank you so much for watching. Bye.